Paganism, well, first of all, it's like an umbrella term, like it's not one like homogenous thing. So paganism just really means any religion that's polytheistic and nature based. So it can vary a lot from religion to religion, but generally it just has that like that reverence for the natural world and the like personification of the natural features of the earth, of the water,
like connection to them and using them to your advantage.
Witchcraft is like a practice, not a religion. So like it can vary very much because people will apply witchcraft to their own kind of worldview and their own religion. But the way it is for me personally that I explain it is like it's using physical tools to help in manifestation.
Similar for me. Sometimes just like manifesting is a big thing now. That is also, I deem that under witchcraft.
Yeah.
A more simple way of doing it, but it's also bringing in tools and things. Again, that manifesting thing, that's a thing that a lot of people have found out about now, whether it's just through like TikTok and various things, but that is something you can do every day, just like affirmations and stuff. That's an easy one. What else is there, like, as a daily thing that people can do?
I mean, it can be really easy to bring it into like things as just as small as like mantras and things like that. You know, stirring like your coffee clockwise brings in like positive energy and that kind of thing. I think like also like on a broader sense though, like paganism is really important in this day and age because of that connection to nature and that reverence for the natural world. You know, we're living in a time of like complete like climate crisis, ecological crisis, and like consumerism. So having that mindful approach and that, you know, like thinking of natural places as holy and giving them the respect they deserve, like that just alters your whole worldview and really makes you think a lot more about the environment around you.
Definitely. Another thing is where we've gone through so many like major things recently, I think a lot of people are turning to something new, something different that isn't like an everyday religion that everyone goes to turn towards God and all that. People are looking for something new to believe in and help them through tough times, especially following COVID and stuff. Obviously it's quite a lot older than any of us could perceive, but it's definitely growing back again into like everyday norms and stuff. It's more, people are becoming more open to it. That's what it is.
Also, people are becoming just more open with the practices that they maybe already had. Like there's a lot of people who have kept those traditions alive, whatever kind of paganism or witchcraft it might be, through their culture, but you know have been told that they can't practice that publicly. That's something to be ashamed of. But increasingly, like people, they're becoming a lot more open about their faith, and like not just in the UK either, all around the world. Like people are just realizing that it's not evil. Like it's just another religion
all around us. People are scared of what they don't understand, be it like science, and that's why old witch trials existed, but like different religions, people are just, when they don't know what it is, what people are doing, they're just like, yeah, know what I mean? You know
yeah, definitely. People have so many misconceptions, and there's a lot of stigma around it, and even, you know, us at the university, and you would think maybe younger people might have a more open perspective, but no, not
There's
necessarily.
Still a lot of people that are like, really?
Yeah.
You class yourself as a witch? I'm like,
I've had people literally laugh in my face, like.
Yeah. It's a time. No matter how far we get in society, there's still always stigma and like bias, and there's always going to be bigots no matter what we do.
Yeah, definitely.
Any sort of like belief or orientation.
Yeah, like, and it's not even just stuff like being laughed at as well. Like it can be more serious than that. Like it can be like real discrimination, and it's just like maybe we've become more aware of other forms of discrimination in society, which is amazing, but this is one that just hasn't really been addressed, and there's so many misconceptions and, you know, media portrayals that are just totally wrong and stuff like that. People just they can be afraid of it, and it's, you know, whether it's something like just having like Satanists shouted at you, or like people actively like bullying you for it, or, you know, like worse stuff, like there's a lot of discrimination even now. She was very like influential in terms of like she's kind of started that destigmatization of witchcraft, but, you know, even at the time, but also now, she was a controversial figure, not just like from general society, but even within witchcraft. Like, she was very known for having opinions that were very disagreed with by other witches, and like she's kind of like thought of as kind of a representative of witchcraft, but that's not necessarily the case. But equally, like, she is so important because, you know, people weren't public about it, and for someone to be public about their practice in those days, that was like a huge deal. So she's a really interesting figure. Yeah, she's known as a white witch, which is kind of the first cause of controversy, I suppose, because maybe to non-witches that's quite a positive thing, but within the witchcraft community, like, there's actually discrimination from people who consider themselves as white witches towards other forms of witchcraft and grey witchcraft, and like the idea that, you know, you have to always be doing like white practices is not true to many forms of witchcraft, like around the world. Like, other cultures like can view it very differently, but equally, on the flip side of that, she also did a lot of hexing, a lot of cursing, and
Probably
people
wasn't a white witch, basically.
Yeah, so like she was a strange figure because she openly promoted one kind of philosophy, but in practice was actually quite different. And then at the same time, like, obviously this was kind of during the 60s, there was a lot of like openness, like a lot of people were getting into things like meditation and kind of like Eastern philosophy, and like there was a big push but a big influence in witchcraft communities at the time of things like, you know, like psychedelics and like nudity and stuff like that,
like
which
the spiritual side.
Exactly, there's more spirituality, and she was very against that kind of movement, which, you know, again, like then and now, some people like very much agree with, some people don't. So like, but I think regardless of like whether you're a witch who follows a practice like her or not, like, she was still just important because of what she stood for, that like being openly who you are, especially in like a small rural village in southern England.
Yeah, and even if that's not what is said about her now wasn't necessarily true, still it being said and people being aware of her and like the witchcraft in the area, it's still pushing it in the right direction. Yeah.